hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind of Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get this show started. Hello, everyone. We finally made it. We passed the 500 mark of subscribers. That's amazing. Tyson yesterday celebrated 100K. I'm celebrating 500. I mean, 500 for me is an achievement that it's been a long time coming, but I gotta say a lot of thanks to the subscribers who subscribed and my cats, because my cats are a big part of my life and they helped push me to the 500 mark. I put out a lot of shorts lately, and the shorts have been getting a lot of subscription. Like I'm getting a lot of subscribers off of the shorts, which is amazing, which is cool. And yeah, I mean, it was a goal of mine and I achieved it. Now the next goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. We're gonna join that race for 1,000, and it's gonna be so cool. Say what's up, Chloe, Albie. What's up, guys? Yes, congratulations to all of us. It's a long time. It's been a long time coming. Like I was dreading. I was like, damn, I was so stuck at like 4 something for the longest. Holy shit, I was stuck on there forever. But something just triggered and people just started subscribing like wildfire. And now I'm past 500 and now I'm racing for 1,000. I'm going to race for 1,000. I'm going to try to get 1,000 hopefully by the end of the year. Hopefully. Hopefully that's a big task, but hey, we're gonna try to shoot for it and try to do our best to try to reach 1,000. Um, I got my medicine all ready for this. This is so cool. We got some weather to go over. that that storm, that tropical storm Erin out there, she is waking up. She's becoming very strong. I don't believe she's a tropical storm. The media likes to play it down so much. They're like, oh, it's only 45-mile-per-hour winds. I don't think it's at 45-mile-per-hour winds. I think it's close to about 70, maybe 75, touching already Category 1 hurricane. Just by the images that I'm seeing and off of the radar, that's where we're going to start off first here today. It's on the tropics because it's starting to get a little wild, and I'm very concerned for the northern Leeward Islands like St. Thomas and also Puerto Rico. You guys should be on alert, not high alert, but just be on alert because the system keeps moving south. It moves like south, like west southwest is moving more west and a little bit south. And the problem is, the further south it goes, the worse it is for us in the islands, and not only for us in the islands, but for us in the United States. Now, where in the world this storm is going to hit is the $1 million question, right? Let's see together. All right, let's get this all set up here real quick, and let's make this big so we could see what I'm talking about here. My concern is, of course, Erin right here, which it has blown up. I think it's a hurricane right now. This is my opinion. I don't care what other meteorologists are reporting out there. I'm just going by what I see. This area is a big time concern for the northern Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico. As you can see, it's below Puerto Rico right now, and if it keeps jogging still southward, it's gonna take that late turn and possibly grace the islands. Big. This is big, and also not only that, but there's some storms over here that's in the going to the Gulf of America or Mexico, wherever you want to call it. That's gonna it's gonna develop into something. Hopefully, it doesn't rapidly develop, but there is something that's supposed to develop here in the Western Gulf. But all eyes is on Erin. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at Erin. Let's go ahead to the Central Atlantic, and then I'm gonna do a mesoscale also, so we can see it up close. This storm, it looks like a hurricane. I'm sorry, it looks like a hurricane. I've seen. There's no way this is a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm. There's no way. There's no way. If that's the case, I got plenty of bridges here to sell you. And I could sell you all the bridges in all one big package, and we could put your name on it if you want. You just have to spray tag your name. But as you can see, the storm is moving west. It's moving west southwest. It jogs like it's moving west and it jogs a little bit south. You see, it has like a wobble, so it's wobbling. So hopefully, it doesn't wobble a little bit more downwards. Because if it goes a little bit more downwards, it's going to come very close to the islands. Now, let's go ahead and check out the mesoscale on Erin here. Here it is. I'm going to check the Ghost 19 mesoscale. This is like a slow motion of the storm. You can see it, how it's blowing up by the center, because the center of the storm is right in here. So this is where the eye would say is right around here. The full system is all of this, and look at the banding of this. Look at the outflow. The outflow looks healthy. The storm looks healthy. It has developed all its characteristics. It has plenty of moisture, tapping into plenty of moisture. You can see the it's starting to like turn pink in the inside, white and pink. Those are the cloud tops and how high they're going right now. This is going to be a very dangerous storm. Very, very dangerous. Let me see if there's any visible. It's probably too dark right now. Maybe. Man, this camera is only good during the daytime. I always try to get it, but I'm gonna have to do a morning show to get this camera, because this camera is only good in the daytime, and it's already turning night in that area. It's already nighttime. So the only thing we have is the long wave, which is this one right here. That looks like a hurricane. I mean, not a minimum tropical storm. There's no way that's a minimum tropical storm. There's no way. It can't be. They are going to, I believe, tomorrow. They're going to be sending out the planes to investigate it. Let me see if I could get on the Central Atlantic. Let me see if I could get visible. Maybe we still get a little visible on this. That is not a tropical storm. I'm sorry. I've seen so many storms in my life. I covered a lot of storms in my life. There's no way this is a tropical storm, and this is no way 45-mile-per-hour winds. This the way is rapidly like developing real strong here. Oh man, this is gonna be a beast. And wherever it goes, all these islands up here are in danger right now. Now, if the storm gets super strong and then curves up, it will have to start curving like right here, like this area here. It has to start going like northwest. And storms don't usually just stop and drop and go straight up. It has to be a gradual turn. Now, when is that turn going to happen? Is it going to happen beforehand? Like, is it going to happen here, or is it going to happen more closer, which is going to bring it up through the islands? I mean, this it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I hope it doesn't go to Puerto Rico, but all bets is off right now, and you have a major storm developing that's heading towards the islands. Oof. It's gonna be a rough one. Let's check in to see what they say on the tropics here. Let's go ahead and check out this report.
Minutes here. Talk about a U.S. territory that has really been uncomfortably close to hurricanes in the past. Erin could very well be another one that makes a close pass to the island. It's still more than 1,000 miles east of the leewards, so there's still some time to watch it. But even though Puerto Rico will likely be missed, the soon-to-be hurricane is going to bring impacts. Remember, the forecast calling for Erin to be a major one as it makes its closest approach.
This morning, we have Weather Forecast Office and National Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist based in San Juan, Ernesto Morales, joining us here on Weather Command. And I guess the latest update, Ernesto, coming in from the NHC. I like to ask, are you encouraged by the trend so far, with Puerto Rico now out of the cone yet again with that latest update?
I don't know. They keep saying out of the cone.
Would be the word.
It's not out of the cone.
Well, yesterday was kind of shocking when we had to go and talk to our partners, mentioning that we're inside of the CONUS, right? But now there's a little bit more relaxing between the partners. You know, we've been talking to the governors from Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. That is as part of our responsibility, explaining that even if we are outside of the cone, we could have some impacts. So we're going through the impacts we're expecting from Erin, and I think everything's under control. I seen some people going crazy, going to the stores and buying water, but at the same time, it's the beginning of the season, the peak season of the peak of the season. So those preparations are not going to be lost. You know, it's going to be a long season for us here. So the waters are pretty warm. So I'm pretty sure this is not going to be.
It's going to come close to Puerto Rico.
2025.
It's going to come close to Puerto Rico.
And Ernesto, as the warning coordination meteorologist there out of the San Juan office, it is your responsibility to make sure the messaging.
If he gets it wrong, he needs to be fired.
That your office has is getting to those partners, and especially when we talk about hurricanes in this time of year, Puerto Rico prone to impacts. Let's talk about impacts in the case and the scenario that we do go through. We have Erin make a very close call with Puerto Rico. What type of impacts are you guys expecting? Certainly some rougher surf.
Well, it's the rough surf around. You know, right now we're having a lot of tourists coming down to the island, and they don't understand the danger of the rip currents. So we have lost a lot of lives in the last few years.
It's gonna get
along the coast.
close.
So
I'm
this
just
is
saying
another
right now.
example
Look,
of
look
we're
how
trying to reach the people, reaching the
it's right here, but it
people
keeps
are dealing with the
it
tourists
has to make that turn
here in the
close.
island, just to
It's
give the
writing the
message
bottom
that
line.
there's no time to go to the beach
And if
during
it
Saturday or
wobbles
Sunday when all
downwards,
these
it's gonna
bays
go
is going to
through
be
this
affecting
area.
the island.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about vulnerabilities and really relating to past events, now very different scenario, but it was back in 2017 that we had catastrophic impacts from Hurricane Maria.
Maria fucked
Arguably,
up Puerto
and you would
Rico.
know better than us, still feeling impacts even today. So there is that sense of fear, I think, that gets regenerated and renewed when you hear about a new tropical threat. To be out of the cone is huge, but the fringe effects you talked about, we have to pay attention to. But when we talk about even the power grid and knowing the vulnerability with that alone, what level of wind are you going to be watching for that could generate some of those issues with triggering power issues?
You know, we lose power every day in the island. The power grid is not entire there. So people have learned here in the island how to live without power.
That's
so
crazy.
part of their preparedness is to live without power. So they have bought power generators. They have bought solar power. So I think in that side, we're getting ready, but still the great majority of Puerto Ricans don't have that type of source, energy source. With 20 miles per hour wind, 25 miles per hour winds, we even can lose the power across the island. So it's not only the wind, it's also the rain. It's all the scenario that Aaron can generate for us. That we've been talking directly with the power company just to let them know that what we're expecting is the range of winds that could be between 15 to 20 sustained right now, right? But we could have gusts above 40 miles per hour with the stronger lines of showers moving through the area. So we've been talking about this, so they're getting ready to fast pace the fixing of like single problems in the island. So let's see what happens.
And Ernesto, one more question before we leave you and run out of time. The rain component, because I know even passing and watching Aaron move to the north, the concern for some of that return tropical moisture over the island, even the U.S. Virgin Islands, are there concerns right now for mudslides potentially, for example, that we could have?
Well, in a few days, first few days, like Saturday and Sunday, the rainfall amounts are not, the accumulation are not going to be that big, right? Because the bands of showers are going to move fast. What we worry about is when the system goes north of us and start dragging all the moisture from the Caribbean waters, hot waters, and that will help generate or increase the potential for flooding and landslides. So everything has been talking to the emergency managers here in the island, especially on the emergency managers for the towns in the middle of the island where all the mountains
are. But this was a
and
little bit earlier. You see how it's the difference? How it looks.
That's something that we'll have to watch. Well, a lot of time still to watch it, Ernesto, as I know that you guys will be. We will watch it as well, and we're hoping for the best. The farther we can get this system away from Puerto Rico, the better. But that energy can travel in our oceans, as we know. National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist for the San Juan office, Ernesto Morales. Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's definitely riding the southern part of the system here, as you can see. It's hanging low. It's hanging low. If the center's right here where my cursor is, if you just go westward on it all the way across, we're already at the islands, the Leeward Islands. So it's gonna have to start turning now. I mean, if it keeps going west for a little bit more, I mean, when is it going to take that north turn? Because it's not going to take like a really rapid north turn. It's going to gradually take that turn. So if it goes gradually, I mean, they're going to get effects from the storm. If it goes, even if it misses Puerto Rico by the north side, it's not going to miss it by much. I mean, at one point, about 4 days ago, they were saying, "Oh, it's gonna miss Puerto Rico by like 300 miles. It's gonna be like way up here." I don't know where it's at right now. It's giving me Maria vibes. I'm getting like the itchy of Maria coming across. Like this is gonna rapidly develop overnight. Don't be surprised if you wake up in the morning and this is already a Category 2 hurricane. That's how fast this is gonna rapidly, like overnight, it's gonna just blow up, and it's gonna surprise a lot of people. And I'm sure a lot of people in these islands are not prepared for a hurricane like this. I mean, how can you get prepared? You had a whole week to get prepared, but the media keeps downplaying it. Oh, no, it's not going to hit the islands. No, it's not going to hit the islands. Don't worry about the islands. I mean, it's pretty close to the fucking islands. Like, it doesn't take much for Puerto Rico to lose power. A little breeze, the power goes out. So imagine this storm, a close approach. It's gonna be a headache for Puerto Rico. And it just sucks that like the media keeps like playing it down, and I don't understand what is their point of playing it down, and not. I don't know. I don't trust the media so much, especially the meteorologists that are out there right now, because they all follow a script and they have to read from a script. I don't. I read what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is something that is not cooperating and it's not going northwards. It seems like it's just gathering more strength and moving more west. I mean, that turn needs to start turning now. If it starts turning now and starts moving like this way northwards like this, and they start coming up this way, then okay. But that just doesn't, like, I don't know, it doesn't add up. It doesn't math up. And the way that this flow is moving, oh man, Puerto Rico. I wanted to go to Puerto Rico this year. I don't think I'm gonna go to Puerto Rico this year. If the storm hits Puerto Rico, I'm definitely not going to Puerto Rico this year. I was thinking about going there, but I'm not 100% sure right now if I would want to go, knowing that the storm is going to make a very close approach, and it doesn't take much to really cause havoc in Puerto Rico. So hopefully things will get better. In due time, we'll see. It's something that is out of our hands. It's nature. Nature's gonna do what it's gonna do, and if it's gonna wreak havoc, it's gonna wreak havoc to the extreme. Let's go ahead and tackle some more news, because from what I understood, there was a pretty bad accident. There was two, I think, like two school bus accidents that flipped. I think it was like one this morning and like one this afternoon. I'm covering the one this afternoon. So let's go ahead and see what the hell is going on with the school buses and why are they crashing? Because, like, don't they screen out these drivers? Don't they make sure that these drivers are properly vetted to be able to handle these buses? I don't know. I question. Let's see the news on it.
We do have some breaking news that we are following for you out in Texas of a school bus crash. This is coming from Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt, talking about the breaking news here on X, saying crews are responding to Leander ISD school bus rollover crash near Nameless Road and the Branch Drive out in northwest Travis County. More than 40 children are on board and at least 16 injuries are being reported at this time. It happened around 3:16 this afternoon. We have a team at the scene now, Fox 7 Austin, and was tagged in there. So let's go on to some of the coverage right now. They are in breaking news mode. Let's listen in to the team there at Fox 7.
A lot of padding, refer to it as the egg carton concept along that line. And we got this a couple of minutes earlier, and just let me read this. This is from the Leander ISD Transportation Safety page. Leander ISD is proud to have the best and most safety-focused equipment to transport our precious cargo, your child, as our commitment to the transport of our students, safely. Our buses are equipped with 3-point seat belts. You caught that earlier. It's also state law that our students should be using the seat belts while being transported to and from school, as well as in any district-related event. School bus district shall require a student riding a bus operated by or contracted for operation by the district to wear a seatbelt if the bus is equipped with seatbelts for all passengers on the bus. So we're hoping, we're assuming that this bus, and looking at the images that were sent in here to Fox 7, the bus looks like a fairly new design. So we're assuming that bus is equipped with
why did it
at least
flip
lap
that
belts,
way?
if not the three-point locking mechanisms
flip
that
that
are
bus like
in
that?
play. And some of those injuries, you have to understand, if you've ever been in a car wreck,
God.
which unfortunately I have been, wearing a seatbelt, you can get hurt by that seatbelt.
That itself can cause
that
the injury.
itself, that's very jarring. It sets, it's tight, it locks you in. And so some of these injuries, since this bus is on the side and we're not quite sure how far, if it was a complete roll,
Correct.
or if it's a partial roll, if it was a complete roll, those belts
How
are
the
really
hell
going to
did it
lock
roll?
down tight. And so some of these injuries that are being treated there on the scene may be related to the seatbelt clamping down and keeping the kids from flying out of their seats.
Right.
I remember doing stories. I'm old enough to remember that once upon a time, school buses didn't have seatbelts, and there was a reasoning for that because of concerns of if a bus went into water, kids would be trapped and couldn't get out. And there was a terrible tragedy here in Texas several decades ago that took place. But in doing those stories, I remember seeing the video, onboard camera video of when a bus has an accident. And a lot of folks at home watching us now may be remembering some of those things where you see the kids fly out of their seats.
Right.
And you can get really, despite the design, you can still get hurt landing hard. And so that's why we had the big push for the seatbelts. But again, those seatbelts do clamp down, and when in a catastrophic event and you're rolling, they'll clamp down hard. And so some of our injuries may be due to the seatbelts doing their job and keeping the kids in their seats. And hopefully that's the case, that's the majority of our injuries that we have are type of seatbelt injuries that are like bruising and maybe a little strain, ligament or two and things like that. Maybe some bumps and bruises or a broken bone, but nothing catastrophic. But we do know, unfortunately, one individual had to be airlifted by Starflight and triage underway there at the scene. So it is a catastrophic event, mass casualty event as it was classified. And as I said earlier, a mass casualty event will bring in law enforcement and first responders from the surrounding area. They are there on scene along with Travis County ESD1. You have the Leander Fire Department. You have the Cedar Park Fire Department and the Lago Vista, Jonestown responders in that area. So we know it's a all hands on deck situation, and that roadway, nameless roadway, definitely going to be one that needs to be avoided. So if you travel that road, you're thinking about, and you're listening to us now, but haven't gotten on that road, you need to avoid that. And also looking at some of the radar that's coming in, we have that chance for some possible rain.
Right. We knew that was possibly coming. Of course, we don't know if that's what caused the crash. We don't know which direction, I guess, the bus was heading. But we can assume that it was after school.
I'm going to base, I'm saying that bus is heading southbound on Nameless. I could be totally wrong on this one, but just by the orientation of the sky and the look, possibly heading southbound. Could be totally wrong on that. That's just a guess. But I'm looking at our Fox 7 WAP, our weather map, and right now most of the rain is staying pretty much down to the south of the river right now. But there's some pop up going on just to our west along Fredericksburg. But that area right now that we're talking about with the crash zone appears to be clear, although there is a small cell that is just west of that location that seems to be drifting a little southeast, but also dissipating somewhat. So that's good news, because the first responders, really don't need a rain shower to hamper.
Right, already having to deal with this, and then that on top of it, of course. If you're just joining our breaking news coverage, a Leander ISD school bus has crashed on Nameless Road. That's between Palomino Ranch Drive, Honeycomb Lane there in Travis County. This is the first day of school for Leander ISD. This call came in, a request to go after this vehicle around 3:15 p.m. And then the images started to come in of this bus flipped over. We have a couple of images of that bus. Of course, you can either go on, our Fox 7 Austin Twitter page, X page, look at those. Rudy, of course, has tweeted those out as well. From what we know, 43 people on that bus, 1 adult, 42 children. At first reports, there were 16 injured. That number went down to 12 of those being patients. We know that 1 was airlifted with a Starflight helicopter. And as you mentioned, Rudy, hopefully everyone wearing their seatbelts. The majority, however, of those on the bus not being reported as injured or being reported as patients. So I guess that's something you can take away from this, that the bus itself, the seatbelts, everybody working together to hopefully make this as safe as possible, that the majority not being injured, and of course only 1 being airlifted.
Yeah, one thing that we don't see in this video is the vehicle that hit the bus. We're not quite sure, and I have not heard yet what type of vehicle hit that bus. So I'm reaching out to my contacts right now to see if they can tell me what type of vehicle made contact with the school bus, and where that vehicle is and what has happened to that driver.
Yeah, we don't know the cause of the crash. We don't know exactly which direction this bus was heading. We can only assume at this point, of course, a lot of assumptions, but we do know that the crash happened around 3:15 is when that call came in. We heard it over the scanners. We immediately sent out our crews to go there and try and get something on the scene. Our Jenna King, of course, she joined us about 10, 15 minutes ago to give us a report of her, being on the way there. And Rudy, it doesn't look like the traffic was too bad, of course, trying to get there, but we do know that road can be dangerous. It is narrow, and a lot of these students a month ago having to deal with floods, having to deal with talking about rebuilding and going back to school and trying to get a sense of normalcy.
Texas
is happening on the very first day of school. A lot of people excited. We don't know the age of the children on board. We don't know if the passengers were, mixed. We don't know if it's high school. We don't know if it's elementary school, middle school. We also don't know the status of the driver of this, but we do know 42 children, 1 adult, 43 total, 12 patients, 1 airlifted, of course, and we'll continue to update you on those numbers. And this is a fluid situation, and the numbers are going to come in and they're going to change, but we'll try to give you the best to our knowledge of those updates. Of course, you can follow us right here on the Fox 7 local app. You can follow us on our website, fox7austin.com. And of course, our social media pages we'll be updating with as well. Rudy's page as well. We'll have some of those images that you're seeing right there on your screen.
That's crazy.
Jenna King, currently not live there from us, for us yet. Hoping to get that up and running, of course, so we can give you a live image of exactly what that scene looks. EMS telling everyone to stay away from the area so they can do their jobs, of course. And as you mentioned, Rudy, a mass casualty event. So there are more reinforcements coming in to help out with this. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts happening as we speak.
I wonder how many children are serious. Like, they're not saying much. They said they sent 1 through the helicopter, but I remember the school bus. I remember the yellow school bus. Who doesn't remember getting on the yellow school bus? I mean, unless you had private, then, or you had your parents take you to school. But I remember getting on the yellow school bus, and that bitch was crazy. One time, I'll explain to you a story that happened. True story. This is my freshman year, going to Barbara Goldman Senior High School. That's in Florida. That's actually in West Hialeah. That's actually close to Mammy Lakes. Well, the bus driver didn't know how to get to the school, right? We weren't paying attention, right? The bitch gets on the highway, right? And we're heading, I don't know what direction we were heading at. By the time we figured out, we're all of us weren't paying attention to the driver. We were talking to each other, and like we were kind of like we were friends because we lived all in the same neighborhood. So we were busy talking, and then I remember I looked outside and I go, where the hell she's going? And then everybody started looking. They're like, where are you going? She's like, I think I'm going the right way to take you to school. I go, we don't go to school in Miami Beach. You're going the wrong way. Where are you going? And she had to get off, and then pull to the side, make a couple of phone calls. Because back in the day, remember, we didn't have GPS. Back in my days, we didn't have fucking GPS. We didn't have smartphones. You know what I mean? So she had like the old school like cellular phone. Yeah, you have to dial. It doesn't even have like memory. It just like you dial and you call. And they were telling her you're going the wrong way, and they try to explain to her exactly how to go. We ended up, long story short, we got to school 2 hours late because she didn't know where she was going, and she kept like going the wrong way. And I think she like did it on purpose. By the time we got to school, it's like, what the fuck we're here for? So like we went straight to the cafeteria, and they had us like they prepared food for us. So it was a mess. But it was the first day of school for them over there. And how long this person that's been driving this bus been driving for? Because this is the first time we have back-to-back flips today of buses. And this one here is like, I think this is like the most serious one with injuries. I truly wonder if they do proper background checks, and if they properly vet these people, and they know how, if they truly know how to drive these buses. That's just so scary. So scary. Can you imagine? And then what hit them to make them flip? Did they get sideswiped? Did they get like, was it a dump truck or I mean, what could possibly like hit a school bus to cause it to flip? It can't be a regular passenger car. It can't be. There's no way. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know how Texas goes with cameras in the school buses, but I'm sure that's a yellow school bus, and I think that's a city school bus. I think they should have cameras on that bus, inside and outside. If it's a newer bus, it should have cameras. It will be very interesting to see how this accident happened. Man, just send prayers to those kids, because there's a lot of them that are hurting tonight pretty bad. Man, what a horrible story. Ugh. All right, let's go to some more crazy stories. Let's go to, let's see, give me 1 second to set it up. You know what? While let me just set all of them up while I can do this behind the scenes. But how was your day today? My day was great. I ended up crossing that 500 mark, and I'm pretty happy about that. It gives me hope, gives me a new, like, it's kind of like more energy to continue doing what I'm doing and keep pushing. Little by little, one subscriber at a time truly helps the channel. And I really want to, like, I want this channel to be successful, not only for me, but for everyone, and I want to get back into my psychic stuff. I want to get back into doing my readings. Definitely want to get back into doing energy readings. Those are fun. I love doing energy readings. Give me 1 sec. It's supposed to rain here tonight too. That's why I kind of did the show early, because I'm going to get off early. because it's supposed to like be heavy thunderstorms later, and I didn't want it to mess up the show. Oh, we also got a Tyson De La Cruz to watch. Oh, the Train of Truth is here. I love the Train of Truth. We're going to be hearing more of that horn in the wintertime, fall, wintertime. That's when I open the window and you can actually really hear it. The Train of Truth. I love the Train of Truth. Okay, so we are done with this. Oh, let's go straight to the crazy news. This Friday is going to be very important for us, like for everyone. I hope this meeting goes well, but man, I'm here alive for a reason. If World War III is going to break out, if we're going to do all out blitz, like fuck it moment, I want to be alive to witness it. And you know, I don't know, I won't be alive afterwards, but I want to be alive when it happens and see what happens. That'll be scary, but let's see what Trump has to say in this report.
President Trump does say Russia will face, quote, severe consequences if a deal is not reached soon to end the war with Ukraine. Trump made the comment a short time ago. You watched it here at the big reveal of Kennedy Center Honors nominee,
500.
speaking with reporters. Just before that, as we mentioned, the president spoke virtually with Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, and European leaders ahead of Trump's face-to-face meeting with Russian President Putin. Zelensky told Trump that Putin is, quote, trying to apply pressure on all sectors of the Ukrainian front in an attempt to show that Russia is capable of occupying all of Ukraine.
This is going to be scary, man, because I know Zelensky already. I already know the game. Listen, this is not hard. It's not hard to read energy, okay? This Zelensky guy, he's the puppet that the establishment has the hand up his ass. And they're controlling the puppet. They're like, oh, turn this way. Oh, turn that way. Oh, that's what it is. Zelensky's not gonna go down easy. I think he is the biggest problem we have in the world. I don't think it's Putin. I think it's Zelensky. You know, because before Zelensky, we didn't really have many problems with Russia and Ukraine and all this craziness. Zelensky, his term as president is up. He's just still president because he has an emergency. You know, he suspended the elections and he's like president indefinite. He's an indefinite president that he could be president for the rest of his life, which I think is bullshit. You know what I mean? I think Putin and Trump is going to come to some kind of deal. And they're gonna have to be some land like exchanges, and one of the biggest terms of that is gonna be Ukraine needs to hold an election for a new president, and Zelensky's gonna have to see his way out, you know, because he's a big time grifter. Okay, he goes around Europe pretty much selling himself. And acting like a little punk bitch. There, I said it. A little punk bitch. And the man, he's just not coming to terms. He's very stubborn. Very, like, there's other people that are running him. You know what I mean? He's, like I said, he's just a puppet. And if Trump and Putin come to an agreement, Ukraine is not going to acknowledge it. So they're going to go against the U.S. and say, no, we're not going to listen to you guys. I'm like, well, then why the fuck are we giving you money? Why the hell are we giving you weapons? why are we supporting your government and you guys are getting paid, right? Yeah, right? Guess who's paying for that? The taxpayers of the United States of America, bitch. And we should stop sending money to Ukraine. Stop sending weapons to Ukraine. Stop. If if Europe wants to step in and help, that's dumb. They need to protect their territory, so that's dumb. Why the fuck the United States has to be part of this shit? Like, no. I know, phone. Fucking even the phone is agreeing with me. It's just doesn't make any sense to me that Zelensky is still president. Like, no, he should be out of there. That guy is more corrupt than corrupt, but they keep throwing money at him like he's I don't know, like he's like some kind of prom queen or something. And he loves attention. He never wears a suit. He won't wear a suit, but he'll go in his little military, like G.I. Joe looking. Like, are you kidding me? Like, stop sending the money. Stop sending the money. Stop sending weapons. Cancel the Patriot missile and let Europe take over. They want to support and continue the bullshit. Well, let it come out of their pockets and not ours here. You know what I mean? We got other things to worry about than fucking Ukraine right now. You know, they're like the stepchild that keeps crying like a little bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. You know? It's crazy, but that's just my feelings. It's my mind over your matter. And you know, cut the funds. And you see how that war gradually, rapidly stops. You know, Ukraine, they slick. They're very slick. Zelensky is very slick. He likes to poke the bear and then point at the bear saying, no, he's the aggressor. He's coming at me. Look, but you poke the bear. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Right? It's like, I can't with Ukraine. They just need to. Zelensky's gonna need to go. That's gonna be part of the agreement. Yeah, they'll do the land exchanges and so forth, and Ukraine will be not happy. They'll never be happy because those people like don't understand. Ukraine used to be part of Russia. Okay, let's not play stupid. You know, they used to be Russia. You know, and you know they broke away from Russia, and they became their own little entity there, and now they want to act crazy when Russia is coming to claim their territory. It's their territory. It's not Ukraine's territory. That territory there is all Russia. But let's pretend it's Ukraine, right? Anyhow, we're all aliens. We were all dropped off here. That's what I think. We were all dropped off here from all different parts of the galaxy, and we're all one big experiment to see if we could get along with each other. And guess what? We failed. So expect something huge happening to this planet that's gonna wake everybody up and have everyone start believing all over again. And you know, it happens before. It happened many times before, and it'll happen again. And we'll see what happens with the Great Reset. You know, it's just, I feel like humanity doesn't deserve to be here because, one, they're very selfish. Two, they just don't help each other out. They're very selfish and just never happy, never content. You know, you have one group over here, racist, and you have another one over here. Like, it's just It's just too much, you know. It's like how are we're all like we're all human, but we're not all the same race, you know. And it's just wild how did the world evolve with humanity from just two people. I don't believe that. I don't believe there was just two people that just appeared out of nowhere and started procreating and having fluffy bumping time and started populating with all different colors and different looks of people around the world. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. I mean, it makes more sense of spaceships coming into our atmosphere and dropping us off here. That makes the most sense to me, especially the Asians, that you have all these like Asian and they speak, you know, Chinese and Japanese and all different Taiwanese all over the place over there. And I don't understand anything that they say, and I don't can't read any of their languages. Like if you look at the paper how they write, it's just like all bunch of lines and designs. Like and that design is like a whole sentence. Like I don't like how is that like how can we not question that? Like how can we cannot all open our minds and be like, holy shit, like damn, like how come everybody's language is so different and it's not like one universal that we all know. They try to make the English the universal, but there's a lot of people in this world that don't know English. They don't know how to read or write, you know. And they only know their language and their teachings of how, you know, the things, you know. It's just fucking weird. And I just believe in the aliens. The aliens came, they brought their spacecraft, and they just out of nowhere we just popped up here. You know, we popped up here. I mean, just like this, you know. Oh shit! Look who it is. He's back for more. He noticed I was talking about him with the spaceships and how they dropped off the people here, and he could tell he listen. He knows more than all of us right now. This dude right here, he's like, let's give him a high five. Listen, this is. I think this is. We're gonna call him Steve tonight. We're just gonna call him Steve. And Steve says, y'all motherfuckers belong to us. You are all an experiment gone wrong. And we have come to conclusions that your motherfuckers don't deserve to live anymore. So we're gonna like destroy the planet. We're just gonna send a big ass asteroid, throw everything into chaos, and everyone would just die off. And that's it with humanity. You know, it was a good ride. We had our time, and we're just all a failure. We're a failure because we just cannot get along. We cannot live in peace. We can't be happy. You know, everything's always has to be negative, and it's just doesn't work that way. And that's why a lot of things that are happening around the world is happening because there's just so much negative going on. The energy is very high and everyone's projecting negative energy. That's why bad things continue happening. You know, maybe think more positive and be positive. Good things will happen to you. Things will start changing and things will actually make more sense. But right now, it's so negative right now. Every day you see is always something, someone getting shot, someone getting killed. Nobody learns that guns kill. Like every day we sleep, every day we wake up, and every day someone's dying from a gunshot. Like when does this cycle stop? You know, right now someone probably just got shot right now and got killed as I'm speaking. You know, we don't learn every day that we wake up. We don't learn from the day before. We don't learn from the past. Nope. That's why we are a failure. We are a failure to the system. These guys right here, him, like this motherfucker right here. Well, he ain't. He's like y'all just a failure. And we've been watching you guys for a very long time. And the way you guys don't get along is just not what we want. So we're just going to eliminate everyone at the same time. You know, just start over. You know, the start over button. Where's the red button? The easy button. Remember the easy button? Just tap on that easy button. But, yeah, it's just this meeting is going to be very, very important. I just hope that I just hope things. I don't want to witness World War III, but we could be heading towards it, and you're not ready for it. No one's ready for it. No one. Let's listen to Trump.
When you meet with Vladimir Putin Friday in Alaska,
yeah,
do you believe you can convince him to stop targeting civilians in Ukraine?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had that conversation with him. I've had a lot of good conversations with him. Then I go home and I see that a rocket hit a nursing home or a rocket hit an apartment building and people are laying dead in the streets. So I guess the answer to that is no, because I've had this conversation. I want to end the war. It's Biden's war, but I want to end it. I'll be very proud to end this war along with the 5 other wars I ended. But I guess the answer to that is probably no, because I would have had a good conversation with Vladimir. I knew him very well. I got along with him great, actually. We had I had to go through the Russia hoax. And it was actually, it was a strain on the relationship. I actually told him, I said, you know, they got this phony investigation going on, Russia, totally phony, created by Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, and Hillary Clinton and the whole group of them. And it made it very dangerous for our country because I was unable to really deal with Russia the way we should have been. I'm looking at Pam because I hope something's going to be done about it. These people put our country at great danger. And Adam Schiff, it was all made up. It was a hoax. The Mueller report came out. They all hated me. They had 18 Trump haters. And they said I did nothing wrong. They couldn't believe, they couldn't find anything after years of investigation. It was all a hoax.
I just noticed that you were here.
The Democrats, but in particular Schiff and Crooked Hillary, the whole group. And now we've learned all the stuff that's come out over the last 2 months is incredible through intelligence. And hopefully something's going to happen with it. These are people that put our country in danger, in real danger. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So what are we
For
going
the Arts View, starting at the Kennedy Center, this is where we knew he'd hold a news conference.
Secret
He
Service.
named his nominees John Voight, George Strait, Sylvester Stallone, Gloria Gaynor, and Kiss. And so that's where we began. But where we went were politics, Russia, Ukraine, all of it. So let's get into it. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Emily Compagno. Also joining us today, Rachel Campos-Duffy, Fox and Friends Weekend and Fox Noticias anchor, and Kellyanne Conway, Fox News contributor, polling expert, president of KA Consulting, and former senior counselor to President Trump in his first term, and Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst and professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health. Rachel, let's first of all begin with the vision for the arts. I mean, that's not usually something that we see from a president, but he totally has it here.
I totally love it. First of all, we all know these names. A lot of times when Democrats say, we're going to, give an award to so-and-so, we don't know who the heck they are. Who doesn't know who Sylvester Stallone is? And who doesn't think he made great movies? Of course he did. And he was sort of Mr. Hollywood. I mean, growing up, Hollywood, Sylvester Stallone were synonymous. So these are big stars. George Strait, all of this is fantastic. But what I really love is the fearlessness of our president, that he's like, no, you're not going to own the arts. You're not going to own our culture. We won this election. I understand TV. I understand ratings. I understand what the arts are and what people like. And I'm going I'm going to jump in here, whether you like it or not.
Kelly, and the conversation went to the big meeting in Alaska this Friday with Putin. And I heard a couple of things there. First of all, there could be a second meeting, and he would anticipate, if that were to happen, if we can get behind, whatever they need to get to a ceasefire on Friday or close to it, that it would have Putin and Zelensky, a second meeting, like a two-tier. Your take on all of it?
Oh, he's the peacemaker and deal maker. He's doing it through trade deals, tax deals, obviously true peace deals. And I appreciate the fact that the president keeps the door open for future negotiation. He doesn't expect people to come to the table and capitulate, but he does want to negotiate. And if you read The Art of the Deal, he pushes it out and goes very big and bold at first, and then pushes and pulls the levers according to the situation and the players. It is smart to meet Putin first separately. He's met with Zelensky. Zelensky has played ball. They met at the Pope's funeral. They met in the Oval Office famously. His special envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, General Kellogg, has been doing a fantastic job. Steve Witkoff, the vice president. He's got a whole team, obviously Secretary Rubio, an entire team. It's very fascinating to me that Putin would do this, though, because Putin tends to annex sovereign nations, Crimea 2013, or invade sovereign nations, Ukraine 2022, when Joe Biden's in the White House, vice president and president. Here's Donald Trump, though, as president, saying, knock it off, and he hasn't done it. He's gone into Kyiv. He's murdered and killed more innocent people. And I think that is what has shifted the president's thinking, in that, what are you doing killing innocent people? How do we come to the table? Also, I think Putin could not go to certain countries because he could be arrested the minute he landed there. So he can at least come to Alaska. And look, this is the president. The president is in charge of this negotiation. And he's already done it with Armenia, Azerbaijan. He's done it with Cambodia. He's done it with India. He's doing it in the Middle East. Do I think he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize? Yes, but that's not why he's doing that. And just a moment on the arts. We're always told that, Democrats are in charge of the arts. They understand the culture and entertainment. This guy, the #1 show on network television, The Apprentice, and
for years.
He won in part last year, ladies and gentlemen, because of the cultural zeitgeist. He understands where the culture is headed. He's always ahead of the times in that way. When he said border security, illegal immigration, trade and tariffs in 2015, 10 years ago, those were mired in low single digits. Now they're the #1 issues in the country.
All right. The president now was asked about the consequences for Putin. Let's watch that.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences.
Dr. Siegel.
Everyone watching him is impressed by, and Kellyanne knows this better than anyone on the couch, his unscripted sense of himself. He could go on and we would be enraptured, and that's why The Apprentice had 45 million people watching it. But notice how he knows his own value and his own power. There will be consequences. I'm not going to name them. He's coming to the table here with who he is, and Putin knows that. I think Putin wants access to the Black Sea. I think that's clear. And maybe he smells that he can get that with Trump negotiating a deal. But Kellyanne said something else really important. It's going to play out over time. It won't be all happening at once. By the way, love George Strait, Amarillo by morning. I kept thinking
wow, look at you.
Always going across Texas, I'm thinking that.
Wow. Your first name is Mark. I almost want to call you Marky Mark. Wiki wiki.
Carry your love with me. Carry your love with me also. George Strait.
You know what else, Emily, as you guys are all talking about, the second chance, that second go around at the apple for negotiations, I think it also readies the American public that while we could see a ceasefire or the beginnings of that on Friday, it doesn't just get done in one sitting. Like the legacy media want to make it out to be a huge failure for the president if he doesn't get peace on Friday. But life doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes it takes many chapters. So he's also communicating to a wider public when he gives us an idea of future negotiations.
It's such a good point that I think hallmarks this presidency, that the media is often, clearly it's mostly salacious and sort of rabid. And it's this sort of ferocious culture of trying to get information out immediately. And we saw that, for example, with the incredibly successful bombing of the nuclear sites in the Middle East, right, where we saw it playing out in real time. The media's intent, their primary goal of not accuracy, but just speed. And this president doesn't play into that. He doesn't say, oh, yes, here we go, and get that staccato, cadence. Instead, he's like, actually, we're going to wait for the confirmation. This will be the answer when I give it. This peace process will not happen overnight. We saw when he threw Zelensky out of his office what happens in real time, how these diplomatic decisions are made. And the reality is that everyone comes to the table with a memory and with an inherited experience and culture with every leader individually, in addition to the history of that country. So for the media to expect overnight or to decry failure, not at all. It might be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but certainly President Trump has all the cards, and certainly it will be a successful
I just want to
long-term.
say what I heard when he was talking about this issue. I heard him say something he said over and over again. He said last week, 7,000 boys died. And I want to note, that's what's really on his mind. They are dying by drone warfare. This is like a video game. And it's horrific. It's dehumanizing. And he wants to put an end to that. I think we talk about the negotiations, we talk about Putin, Zelensky, but I love that he brought it to the main issue, which is there are boys dying in the most dehumanizing way. Like I said, I've seen the videos. They're scared out of their minds, and there's these drones going over them like it's a video game. It's horrific. End it now.
Yeah, 7,213. He said the number
Horrid.
specifically. But Kellyanne, we've seen this part of his leadership too when he talked about, and he said it's really real starvation on the ground in Gaza. And that's when you saw the tick up of, okay, how do we get the inertia out of Hamas and Israel both? What does Israel need to do? Hamas are, evildoers and savages. Those are my words. But it's been interesting. He sees the people who are suffering on both sides of an issue.
It reminds me in the first term when not once but twice he retaliated against Assad in Syria when he saw those babies gasping for air.
Chem warfare.
And then died, of course, as did many Syrians. And he retaliated immediately. Look, he's got a great humanitarian sense about him. And people attacked him for that, like, oh, there's not real starvation in Gaza. That's propaganda. He's like, no, I see it. It's not propaganda. Make sure the food gets there. People need to eat. And that's not choosing sides in a war. Obviously, he's standing with Israel. That's choosing sides for what he sees as innocent people needing to eat. This also has to do with D.C. I spoke to the president yesterday, and we talked about D.C., where I live. And he also feels that comes from the same strain of his leadership, Harris, where he feels people are suffering violence and death, rape, destruction, and it's not necessary. It's because we suffer from this affliction in this country of looking the other way. We pretend we don't know what we see right in front of us. And he's not a guy who's ever going to look the other way. What would be the point of being president? He could just go and live a great life as a very successful billionaire with a hot wife a brilliant wife who plays golf on his own golf course every day.
Harris, to Kellyanne's point, Jeanine Pirro, echoing the president's sentiments yesterday, said these are victims of crimes. They're dying here in D.C. Don't tell me about statistics. Crime's down a little, but people are dying. And talk to a parent of one of the victims.
Yeah. All right. It has been quite a week with the U.S. Attorney for D.C. and Jeanine Pirro, and all of those who now are walking out the message, including the men and women of the National Guard, the FBI, alongside law enforcement. We're all over it. We're covering every moment. We'll be right back.
Hey, everyone.
Wow,
I'm
that's
Emily
just
Compagno.
wild.
Catch me and my co-host
something
Harris
big's gonna
Faulkner
happen.
and Kaylee McEnany
I
on
just feel like
Outnumbered
something big's gonna happen, and it's just scary times we're living in. That's just that's where we're at. It's. I just hope we could be ready for it. That's all I could say. I was looking at the storm again. Let's go back to it. Let me set it up here. This storm has me concerned. Just because if it goes north, right, would it be coming to my area? The last time we got hit by a major hurricane here in Connecticut hasn't happened since 1938. Okay. And that storm was a September storm. It killed a lot of people up here, up in the Northeast. Killed close to, from 564 to like 700 people died, like adding all the other states. Because Connecticut, there was like 125 people died here in Connecticut from that Category 3 hurricane that hit us. This storm, man, it's a hurricane. It's rapidly developing. Have you ever heard of bombogenesis? Or this is what you call this storm is going to bomb out, like bombogenesis. It's about I think it's like a 24 millibar drop within 24 hours. I think it's like 20 something or 30 something millibars within 24 hours. They classify it as a bombogenesis type, but of a hurricane that's like tropical storm to like Category 2, 3 hurricane. You know, we could wake up tomorrow morning and this could be a Category 2 hurricane. This could be a hurricane tonight. I was just looking closer at it. Let me tap in here. Let me go to the I was looking at the water vapor, right? So you come over to the water vapor and you see where the flow is going, right? You see the flow. You see where you think this flow is going. It's going still towards the west. It's not really pulling anything north. I'm not seeing anything being like, I see a block here. Like there's like a blocking here. So, and there's some kind of opening here. Is it gonna follow that opening? But it's not you can see here everything's just moving from right to left. So is it gonna come very close to the islands before making that gradual turn? I mean, I'm worried about Puerto Rico, because it's developing more in the southern of the storm. The storm is like right here where my cursor is. So this is pretty, like, look at this. Like, you can't see that in infrared, but you can see where this is clear right here. This storm is going to explode. This storm is going to be a monster. By the morning, it should start looking like, even by tomorrow afternoon, this thing should be looking like a monster. Man, that is so scary. Let's go ahead and switch over. Let's go over to this one here. This is another water vapor, and this tells you like how deep like the moisture is, and you got really strong. Like this is really nice. This storm is looking, and the thing is that with this storm, what it's doing is, look at this outband here. All this is actually making it favorable for other storms in the back. Is this like the initial storm that's waking up this part of the Atlantic and making it more like more moisture within the atmosphere? You know, this is you can see moist low mid levels. That's what is happening here. And then also upper levels, because there's some green in here. There's some green around here. I don't see any red, because then that's high deep clouds. That usually you'll see it in the system. Like if it really develops really strong, you'll start seeing those reds. Let's come over here and let's go to the mesos. Let's see. I want to see, because the meso is a constant long wave. Let's see how it's doing. You tell me, what do you think? Do you see a monster developing? I see a big donut right now. Like, you see how this is expanding here? Look how it's pushing out. Look how it's pushing out the heat out of the clothes. Like, it's pushing, it's radiating all around. It's starting to radiate. This is starting to expand. This is turning into a monster. This is right here. It looks like a cantaloupe. That's what it looks like, a cantaloupe. And it's gonna start turning into a bowling ball, and then it's gonna start like this is the beginning of a monster right here. Man, I just hope it doesn't go to Puerto Rico. Oh man, that would fucking suck. It would need to start moving north now. You just can't wait on that. Let me see. Let's get to the central here. See, it's hovering around the 16 longitude, latitude. It's about the 45, 40, it's about 47. So let's say about 46. Yeah, that's 46 west. So about 46 west and 16 north. That's what I'm plotting. That's where my cursor is right now. Puerto Rico is around the 19 north, and I believe it's on the 67. Yeah, 67, 66 and 67. So 66, 67 on 19 north. So yeah, so 66, 67 west and 19 north, that's Puerto Rico, right? The storm right now is at 16 and about 46, 47. Is it going to come close to Puerto Rico? If it keeps moving west, that's not a good sign for Puerto Rico. I don't see anything pushing north, because you will start seeing some outflow or some energy like moving towards the north way, like moving north. I don't see nothing moving like north. You see what I mean? All I see is like everything's moving west. And that's because high pressure is dominating the Atlantic right now. So there's a big high pressure, which is the Bermuda High, that's just really overtaking the Atlantic. Let's go over to the wide. See, there's like high pressure all around here. This is all high pressure. It's like a triangle right here of high pressure. So it's pushing along. It's still pushing this energy westward. Man, look at Africa. Look at that system. Wait, we got to go check out Africa real quick. Sorry, guys. Something caught my attention. I'm a little nerd when it comes to the tropics. What is this beast? This is like Brock Lesnar level. Look at this beast. Oh my goodness. Are they cloud seeding over there? I truly wonder, I always been like wondering, do they like sabotage us and cloud seed the fuck out of the storms out there? I mean, it would be smart, because it would be very effective to harm us in the United States or in the islands. But this is a beast that's in Africa. Look at this monster. Oh, and it's gonna go to Cape Verde Islands because the Cape Verdes are right here, and this is a beast. Oh no! And the fact that this storm is just making it more favorable for storms to come out and start developing. Oh man! And look at what's behind it. What's behind it is this big shield that we can't see, but I'm sure that is a big energy that's going to be coming off also. We're going to have a really terrible hurricane season this year. Oh. And then you can see how this one's just like moving along. And it came up from the low latitudes down here from like 10 north, and it just came up to about, let's say, 15, 16, 17, and over 25, about 20. Actually, it was more like 9. No, it was 22 west. It started coming through here, and then it hit the Cape Verde Islands, and then you thought it was going to keep going north, but then it started coming towards the west side. It died off because of dry air, and the water temperatures are pretty cool. So the system, like, kind of like, it looked like it was dying off, and you saw the inside of the storm, and you saw the perfect, like, circle and perfect rotation of the system. So you saw a skeleton version of it around this area, and now it's redeveloping into a monster. This is a monster, and it's gonna kill. I've been seeing things happening, and I don't want it to come to me though, because I have this, like, imagine it comes like this, and I'm like, yes, so if we could push it away from Puerto Rico and the islands, we could start, like, pushing it with our energy and push it off so it doesn't hit the islands. And then, but if it comes up this way, yeah, I help here, but can I help myself if it comes up to the northeast? Imagine a hurricane, a Category 3 hurricane, or Category 4, who knows, because this waters are really hot. These waters are primed, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting. Let's say it's going to be a few days for the islands. Man, I truly hope that it could push a little bit more north than where it's at right now. But I'm kind of nervous from them because the high pressure is pretty dominant. We'll see. We'll check the weather before I sign off for the show. I'll check the weather again because it's very important, and not only that, I don't want people to die. There's a lot of people are gonna die though. All right, let's go some weird news. This one's about marijuana. What about marijuana? I don't know. Let's find out together.
President Donald Trump and his administration are considering reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug.
22 News reporter Kaylee Thomas joins us live in the studio with how this would provide additional revenue to the cannabis industry.
Sarah and Nick, the effort to change marijuana from Schedule 1, which the DEA classifies as having no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse, to Schedule 3 began under the Biden administration. A Schedule 3 designation wouldn't legalize marijuana for recreational use, but criminal penalties would be lessened. It would also open new research opportunities. And one of the biggest benefits would be that some cannabis firms would no longer be subject to Section 280E of the U.S. federal tax code. For INSA Cannabis Dispensary in Springfield, being removed from this would let them claim tax credits and deductions for business expenses.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So we'd like to be able to bring more products to our customers, additional locations to our customers, and things like that. So that would really be the focus if we're able to kind of get some relief under 280E. You know, it's a savings that we'd like to reinvest back into the business and the industry.
Cannabis industry revenue is projected to reach $34 billion this year, so removing the tax burden would be a huge gain for many firms. A decision from President Trump is expected to be made within the next couple of weeks. Working for you, Kaylee Thomas, 22 News.
That'll be great for me. I smoke my medicine, but my thing is, like, if you have a medical license, you should, like, if states are legal, like, you should be able to use your medical license throughout all states that have marijuana programs. You know, they should make the medical universal for everywhere they're able to get it. Recreational, my state here, Connecticut, does have recreational. All it is that it's the same medicine. you're just being taxed more. That's all it is. It's I get it at a cheaper price and I don't get taxed. So let's say just make an example. Whatever medicine I get it like 15% off of what it is. So, and I don't pay tax on it. It's a firm price. Whatever the price is, take away, depends on the day I go. If I go Monday, it's 20% off. If I go any other day, it's 15% off. And then you're fine. You just pay, because you could calculate it, and then you know exactly what you're paying, so you take that exact amount. Now for the recreational, that's different. It's a whole different line. The price is more expensive, and on top of that, you're being taxed like crazy. Like the same medicine that I could get for $30-something, they're paid close to like 60 something. Like, depends if it's like, they could be paying like $65 to like $68 for something that I could get for like $38. That's the difference between medical and recreation. Recreation, you get screwed with the bill, the tax bill, and there's multiple taxes that you're paying. It's ridiculous. It's sad, but that's how it is. Like, if you're gonna pay for it, if you want to smoke recreational, all recreational means you're paying more for it. That's all. It's no difference in the medicine. It's not a difference. It's not like they're half separate. No, they should, and I think their medicine should be weaker than the medical. You know, because my medical medicine is very strong. It's good medicine. You know, I smoke every time I come on my show. But, you know, it is what it is. And I hope if they do reclassify it, I hope it benefits, and I hope it lowers the prices, especially for the recreational people. Because, man, that sucks. They get hammered with the tax bill. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of money. So, okay, so let's go ahead and see what we have up here next for us to watch.
U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro doubled down, maybe even tripled down, on the idea of getting control over juvenile criminals in particular.
We're also
military
looking to
school.
lower the age of criminals. What's happening is, even if you shoot someone with a gun, you go to family court where the purpose is rehabilitation. You get to go to an ice cream social, and you get to go to yoga classes. That's nonsense. All of these statutes that they've passed don't allow me to incarcerate. They allow the removal or the erasure of convictions. How fair is that to a parent who wants to find out whether or not a nanny is someone who's been convicted of a prior assault? How fair is that to an employer who doesn't get to understand or know who he's hiring? Everything about the D.C. Council and the laws that they've passed are liberal, they're defense leaning, and they're not in favor of the citizens of D.C.
Republican Congressman Byron Donalds of the great state of Florida, member of the House Oversight Committee, also a candidate for Florida governor. Great to see you today. Look, this is making huge news in part because the left is so angry over this. And Jeanine Pirro there, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., laying out why this is necessary and how young some of the perpetrators are. Your take.
My take is the U.S. Attorney is absolutely correct. D.C. has a history of being substantially weak on crime. That's why the District of Columbia continues to be unsafe. Last Congress, I filed legislation. We just refiled it again that would actually put D.C. in line with every other jurisdiction in America. What I mean by that is, in the District of Columbia, if you're 22 years old and you commit a crime, they can try you as a juvenile. No other part of America does that, but they do that in DC. That's the kind of stuff that needs to change. With respect to what President Trump has done, it is his responsibility to take the safety and security of the nation's capital seriously. And I'm glad to see that he's dispatched National Guard to keep the streets of DC safe for everyone.
Look, I want to dig in a little bit deeper on this point. A crowd rental company says it's seen a massive surge in requests. The CEO has told Fox News DC and the inquiries just from that district are up roughly 400% compared to the same period of time in 2024. Most of the attendees are being paid or are there because it's their job to protest. That doesn't mean they don't support the cause, but it does mean that these crowds are not as organic as they appear to be on TV. Look at this. All right, so recent protests include this one on Monday during President Trump's
What
crime
was that about?
crackdown announcement. The singing, some of it rather cringy and had his name in it, you know.
This is
I want
not.
to make it clear. We don't
This
know
is
if
paid.
these people specifically were paid or not, but that is certainly happening in many places around this issue. And against this president, it has tended to be the norm. Congressman.
We know that there's paid AstroTurf from the radical left. They do this all the time with a lot of their phony protests. When you talk to some of these people on the ground, they don't live in the jurisdictions. They tell you they're being paid. They're busted.
Sean,
And then when the issue's
actually,
over,
you know what?
It makes
sense,
of the
right?
Democratic
But
left.
I think
We're
the
far too
14-year-olds, they will
familiar.
put them in a
At the end
separate.
of
They
the
won't put
day,
them with
what
the
is most
adults.
important is that the
I say
security of Washington,
put 'em in
D.C.
military
is
school.
paramount. And if you're a
14
Washingtonian
years old,
living in
go to
Washington,
military
D.C.,
school.
you know that the streets are not safe. Members of
You know,
Congress,
I
Angie
remember my
Craig,
parents used to threaten me
Henry
with
Cuellar
that.
was held up at gunpoint and carjacked in Washington, D.C. If it happens to members of Congress, it happens to regular citizens as well.
But you have a
D.C.
point
City's
there.
council has not
Sean, you have a very
prioritized
good
safety
point.
and security. They have prioritized woke criminal justice reform policies that simply
That FC
do not
Files is
work,
crazy,
never
dude.
have worked. And that's why President Trump is doing the
I
right
know,
thing.
I know
He's
Trump's in the
stepping up
FC Files.
and making
I
sure
know
that the
what has
federal
happened out
seat, that
there.
is the Washington, D.C., that's what it is, the
But I
federal
think
enclave, that the
it's
federal
all a
enclave
setup,
is safe for
like
all
to
Americans.
try to get
You know,
Trump
you pointed
to,
out and the
you know,
history of DC
I think it's
in
a Democrat
particular.
setup.
And I have to say this. I said this yesterday when we saw again Mariel
I wouldn't,
Bowser,
you know,
the mayor,
it's
Muriel
just,
Bowser, standing up there
it's
with
weird.
Pat Smith, who is the chief of police of MPD, Metro Police. And they were talking about having just met with the AG Pam Bondi and how they want to work with, you know, the federal
Yeah,
government and all of
I don't
this.
know about the
Yeah,
14-year-old
this
girls.
is politics too. I mean, they had an opportunity to ask for help. They had an opportunity to make some change and to attack this in a different way.
'Cause if they
And it was
had
by
the
choice
videos,
that
they would
didn't.
have
So how much
released
do you
something.
trust that,
You know,
that the
they have
cooperation
the
is going to
videos.
be sustainable
They
from the
have
left?
Diddy's videos.
To be
They
honest,
have
I don't trust
all
that
the
they're going
videos,
to want
and
to actually
nothing's been
cooperate
released.
with President Trump, which is why we have to continue to make
And
light
I don't
of this
trust the
issue
court
and make sure it's
systems
aware for
anyway.
everybody. This is similar to what happened at George Washington University when Muriel Bowser
I
would
don't
not send
trust
in
the
the
court
Metropolitan
system
Police
because
Department
yeah, they go
to
to court and
arrest
then
the
they get
people
acquitted,
trespassing
or
on that
you get
university's
like a
campus
little
until
tap
the
in the
Oversight
hand.
Committee, the committee I sit on, subpoenaed her testimony in Congress. And the second we did that, all of a sudden MPD was allowed to make the arrest. We have to make sure that we shine light on this. We have to keep it a focus of not just the people in Washington, but the American people. And that is the true way that you have accountability in this matter.
Look, I want to pop this up on the screen. About 400
we need
DC National
accountability
Guard troops have now reported for duty in the nation's capital. We expect that to reach that 800 point by the end of the week. The president was serious, and this is moving forward. I wanted to get that backed in. Congressman Donalds, it's always great to have you in focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone,
Yeah,
I'm Emily
14-year-olds as
Compagno.
adults,
Catch
I
me and
don't-
my co-host
I
Harris
really
Faulkner and Kaylee
don't
McEnany on
think that's a smart thing at all. You know what I mean? I leave the children alone. You know what I mean? It's just like, especially the younglings. You know, like the minors. Like, you know, it's just so weird. It's It's disgusting, right? It's even when you think about it, it's just disgusting. But for some people, it brings them joy and brings them. Ugh, I didn't want to talk about it. It's just disgusting. Let's see. Let's go to the next one here. Yeah, I want to check out this one. It's about the homelessness. Like, where are they putting the homeless at? That's the real question.
Given the emergency order issued by the president, we have been visiting all of the encampments to let the residents know that because of that emergency order, it is likely the encampments will.
Yeah, that's crazy. 14 is too young, though. I think 14 is way too young. I started working myself around that age, 14.
Extended our shelter capacity to ensure that
And it was like under the table type of shit.
like to come in, have an opportunity to come in. If our
So-
shelters are full tonight, we will
Like
expand
14-year-old
beds as well.
young men.
What we are committed to is that we don't turn anybody away from shelter.
I mean,
right now.
I've done
Nobody
it,
will be turned
so
away from shelter because
and I
we
worked
have the ability
like
to
the age
flexibly,
14.
add additional shelter beds.
Shit, I started working earlier than that. I used to volunteer at a card shop, and I used to put in hours. And then they used to give me comic books
20 time count showed a 9%
for my time being there. So they never paid me cash. They only paid me with cards and comic books.
Well, the challenge is
And I did that for a good long while.
pressure. When you're talking, these
I did
people
that
are human beings. They're
at a
not
card
just
shop
people.
in South
And
Florida.
so they have lives, and their lives are being
My parents knew the owner, so it was like
we have to
they
make
didn't
sure
mind me being
that
there and
we
working
do
there.
as much as we can to minimize the disruption while making sure that the objective of closing the encampment is effectively secured.
Yeah. Okay, we're done with this here. Yeah, I remember. I give you my memories. Like, I remember I was about 12 years old, and I was working. It's called Baseball Cards and More. It was a card trading store, and this was way before Pokemon and all that stuff. I think no, was actually around that. No, was before Pokemon. Before all that craziness with that stuff, because this would have been back like 91. This would have been like this would have been 93. It would have been 93. So I was about, let me see, what's in 93? Because I would have been 13 years old when I started working at that card shop. And I stayed there for a few years too, and they would pay me with comic books. That was like the best fucking job I had. Like, cause I would get cards and I would get discounts on boxes of cards, and like anything that I wanted, like I could have had. Like, they would put me like a certain amount. They're like, okay, you get a certain amount. Go ahead and pick out what you want. It was such a great time. Like, I used to love it because then I used to get all the comic books that I always wanted, and just I have comic books from when I used to do that back in that time. I have them. Still have them from 92. From 92, 93, 94, like comic books. I still have them. And I have them on sleeves, and they're in plastics, and they're in a good position. But I started working like at the age of 13. So it kept me off the streets. It kept me more focused. It gave me something to do, especially on the weekends. Like, I used to love going to work because we had like 3 arcade machines, actually like 4 arcade machines. And we had like the best games. We had Mortal Kombat. We had, oh my God, the NBA Jams. We had, there was like 2 others. There was Street Fighter. And there was one more. We had like really good fucking arcade games. So like, I used to get there early, and I used to like start playing. And I would play until the store opens. And then when the store opens, I go and I work behind the counter. and I helped the owner. And I used to work the register too. I was like, we just racking in the money. And then at the end of the night, like, they have me pick out whatever I want for comic books for the day wages. They would give me credit. It's like store credit. I think that was the best. Great experience, man. Maybe kids need to have that experience, what I went through, and start working at an early age. You know, I mean, the schools have programs, especially high schools, for kids that are 15, 16 years old and they're already working, that you could get out of work. You could get out of school early to go to work, because sometimes their shift would start like at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and they didn't get out of school until 3 o'clock. So they need to go home, get ready and stuff and go to work. So they would leave school like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then they would go and work. We had a work program in high school. I never took advantage of that because I would work like in the weekends. During high school, I didn't really work that much in high school because I was so focused in high school that I didn't really work like that, like how I did like in middle school. Because we moved. That's why we moved, and I focused more with the schooling and with my athletics, and I didn't have to go back to work until like after I graduated. When I graduated, that's when I like started working again. But yeah, I mean, my history itself it's a book. It's a book, but I have the comic books still, and they're pretty pricey, some of them. So like I have really nice books there. One thing I can't take when I die, I can't take shit, So maybe I'm gonna do like a sell and start selling comic books. Sell all the comic books, sell all the cards, like open up a little trading show, and just get rid of all the stuff that I have. It'll be a very successful show too. I'm pretty sure people will buy. But I did start work early, and I think a lot of kids they I mean, if they can't, they're gonna have to military school. Especially the bad ones, the bad kids. Fuck that shit. Military school. I mean, I remember I started working. I say working, but like helping my stepfather and stuff like that, like at the age of like 10, 11, like 12 years old, I was busting my ass helping cleaning cars and doing things like helping around. So I was always kept busy at a young age. So I didn't really get into trouble like that. And I think there should be more kids with parents that actually put their kids to do things to benefit themselves and earn some kind of like, I don't know. You have to figure out a way to get these kids off the gangs and off the streets. I mean, they could earn an allowance, for certain tasks and for certain things they accomplish. Let's say throughout the house, they could do the dishes, they can mop the floor, they could do, and then each thing has a certain amount. And with that money, they could, along with you, go to the store and purchase something for themselves. I used to do that all the time. I used to wash my parents' car all the time. My parents' car had the best fucking wash all the time because I used to wash it. Like, my parents used to pay me. They're like, fuck that. We don't need to take it to the car wash. This motherfucker could clean it really fucking good. And I used to pay attention to detail, especially the rims. The rims and the tires. Oh my God. If you clean it, and I was legit. I would be cleaning that shit like and I would do a really good job. My stepdad used to pay me. He used to give me money. I was like, dude, you saved me a lot, just time wise. So here, this is what I would have paid them. So he gave me the money, and then I would go and buy myself a video game. I used to go to Toys R Us. Remember Toys R Us? They're not here anymore. Not in the United States. I think they still have them in Canada, but not here in the United States. They're out of business. But I used to go to Toys R Us and purchase my game. And the games used to be like $30, and my stepdad used to give me 40. You know, and usually with those $10, extra $10, I would go to the movie theater and I could watch a movie and get a popcorn and a soda. It was actually cheaper back in those days. Now you need a loan just to go to the movie theater. You need a loan. You need a prayer to go to the movie theaters these days, man. It's so expensive. I mean, they do have, for me, because I'm an AMC member, so I could get on Tuesdays and Wednesdays half off the movie ticket prices, and then the popcorn, that's where they kill you now. You know, the popcorn and the drink is already like $20-something. It's like, what the fuck? At least they give you a free refill on the drinks and the popcorn, you know, but who's like, I don't know. It's just it's not the same like back in the days, but it is what it is. All right, let's go to the next news story. Where are we gonna go with? Let's check this one out. This one should be interesting. It's something happened weird here in Connecticut. We're gonna check it out together.
Shoreline to the Northwest Hills, many of you saw a strange white swirl in the night sky last night, and you might have wondered if it was a UFO or the start of a science fiction movie. First Alert meteorologist Scott Gagliardi
I was
live
sleeping.
on the Channel 3 Country Carpenters outdoor studio to explain what was behind this very rare sight. Scott.
That's right, Stephanie. It certainly caught many residents off guard. We had photos
Not
and
me. I was
videos that
sleeping.
poured into our newsroom late last night of people wondering what it was. Well, it come to find out that swirl, that glowing swirl, was the result of a European rocket launch thousands of miles away. At 8:30 p.m. Tuesday night, Europe's new Ariane 6 rocket launched from French Guiana, just north of Brazil in South America, carrying a weather satellite. The 8,900-pound spacecraft is designed to improve global weather forecasting and atmospheric monitoring.
Oh, that'd be
Nearly
good.
2 hours after launch, the rocket's upper stage booster, now thousands of miles from where it lifted off, passed high above the skies of Connecticut. And as part of its deorbit sequence, it released leftover fuel into the cold upper atmosphere.
As that fuel is
Huh.
actually sort
Interesting.
of leaving the aircraft, it automatically turns into small crystals. And those crystals are lighted by the sunlight at those high altitudes. So what happens is you have the rotation, which is throwing this dumped fuel out. And as it crystallizes, you have this beautiful spiral pattern that develops around the spacecraft.
This near-perfect spiral was visible for several minutes in Connecticut before dissipating. Astronomers call this a twilight phenomenon, or space jellyfish, a rare mixing of timing, altitude, and lighting that can turn a routine rocket maneuver into a breathtaking display.
Wow.
As human creatures, we spend 2/3
I
of our
didn't see
time
it.
looking at eye
I
level
was
and below.
sleeping.
And there is something that is just so captivating that takes just a glance up in the night sky, and to be able to capture something like this is like, yeah, so lots of people are tuning into the night sky. That's fantastic. I love it.
Experts like Dr. White say with more launches than ever before, we just might get another surprise show in the years to come. And it really was such an incredible sight. Thank you to everybody who sent in your pictures and your videos. But if you're like me and you didn't see it, well, just head to our website. We have the full gallery of that spiral, WFSB.com. But for now, live on the Channel 3 Country.
Pretty cool. I didn't see it. I was fucking sleeping. I was sleeping. Oh man. Let's see what else we have here. Let's go with this one. This one's a little wild. See what happened with that CDC stuff. Okay, let me open this up. Here we go. Let's check out this story.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation releasing a photo today of 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White, the suspected gunman in the deadly shooting outside the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. Investigators say White blamed the COVID-19 vaccine for making him depressed and suicidal.
A search warrant executed at the residence of the shooter revealed written documentation that expressed the shooter's discontent with the COVID-19 vaccinations. Just basically the overall content of one of the documents was more of wanting to make the public aware of his distrust of the vaccine.
Last Friday, police say White fired more than 200 rounds at 6 buildings at the CDC's Atlanta headquarters, breaking about 150 windows with bullets piercing blast-resistant windows and spattering glass shards into numerous rooms.
Over 500 shell casings have been recovered from the crime scene area. A total of 5 firearms along with other evidence has been recovered from the scene and will be submitted for further forensic testing.
During the shooting, police say White killed DeKalb County police officer David Rose before taking his own life. Authorities say the suspect broke into a safe at his family's home, taking a gun that belonged to his father. His family is cooperating with police. According to a 911 call obtained by ABC affiliate WSB-TV, White's father called 911, concerned his son might be responsible for the shooting.
I'm very worried that he might have been involved in this shooting today.
Police say White had no known criminal history. Now, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said White had experienced thoughts of suicide, which even led law enforcement to be contacted several weeks prior to the incident. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, New York.
That's wild. That's wild, and they blame it on the vaccine. I mean, I think you should be able to sue the fuck out of those companies, to be honest with you. I mean, it just makes more sense to me to sue the shit out of them. But since they're protected, it makes it like easier for them to try to get away with it. That's crazy, man. That's just really, really crazy. Let's check out this story here. Give me 1 sec to set it up. Let me make it wide. Got one more here I want to check out too. Got a few more here. All right, so let's go with this one. And let's see what the hell is going on in this world.
Arrests have been made after an armored truck robbery that happened earlier this summer. NBC 10
What? I didn't know about that.
When $2 million was stolen from a Brinks armored
What?
truck.
NBC 10's Miguel
$2
Martinez
million?
just spoke one-on-one with the FBI. He is live now
Holy
in Center City with
smokes.
some new information in
That's
the
a
case.
lot of money.
Miguel.
Yeah, I just finished speaking to FBI Special Agent Wayne Jacobs, as well as Commissioner Bethel. They say this was teamwork in making the arrest. 3 men from Philadelphia were arrested for stealing more than $2 million from that Brinks armored truck back in June. Here's some more look at the video of the scene when we were covering that story. You'll remember the armored truck robbery happened outside of a Home Depot on Castor Ave in Port Richmond around 8 a.m. on June 21st. 2 men with AR-style rifles approached the driver of the truck in an alley, made him get on the ground, and disarmed him, according to officials. While one held him at gunpoint, the other took his keys and stole more than $2 million in cash. The FBI Violent Crimes Task Force and Philly Police, they worked together investigating the case, looked at video, cell phone records, they talked to witnesses, and arrested 30-year-old Daisha Hughes Murchison, 31-year-old Brian Wallace, and 31-year-old Traveen Jackson. Charged them with robbery, interfering with interstate commerce, and a use of a firearm in furtherance of a violent crime. They're hoping that this arrest prevents other brazen violent acts.
We highlight this case because of the brazenness and because of the harm they put everyone in. It's not the Wild Wild West, right? And you don't get the, we deal with a lot of underlying issues, but we really wanted to go after this case, and I mean, we're going to go after the others as well. So there's equally as brazen in some of the activity we just seen recently.
Now, officials did tell me that they recovered most of the $2 million that were stolen. They also recovered items that they bought with that money, some cars, some jewelry. So they say basically they are arrested and they got away with nothing. Now, they are looking into whether they were involved in any other incidents. But as for the Montgomery County armored robbery from yesterday, the 3 men that were arrested in connection to this Port Richmond one, they were already in custody when that happened. So that investigation continues. I'll send it back to you. I'm Miguel Martinez Valle, NBC 10 News.
Very interesting. $2 million. Holy shit. The 3 men were charged with stealing $2 million. Where's the money? Wait a minute. Where's the money? That story's incomplete. What did they do with the money? I want to see the money. All right, let's see what's going on with Alligator Alley over here. We got some Alligator Alley stories, so let's check it out.
Closing arguments are now over, and a federal judge in Miami will decide the fate of an immigration detention center in the Everglades. That decision could come in just a matter of days. Christina Vasquez was in the courtroom for today's proceedings.
Every day that those activities continue is more irreparable harm to our waters and our wildlife.
In a Miami federal courthouse,
Oh,
Wednesday,
Lord.
the attorney
Are you
representing
kidding me?
environmental
You're
groups
living in
told
South
the judge
Florida.
the
Is
suggestion
messing
that
with the
an immigration
Everglades. How about
facility
that?
built in a preserve deep in the Everglades has no
All y'all
environmental
living in
impact
South
is
Florida
absurd.
is bad for the
Especially since
Everglades.
the state and federal government, he said, didn't bother to follow the law and analyzing the potential environmental impacts in this
Everybody
sensitive
living in Florida,
ecosystem
y'all are
when they commandeered
damaging
the site
the
from
Everglades.
Miami-Dade County.
This is about law and order, and environmental laws stand on equal ground with other laws in our country.
Eve Samples is executive director of Friends of the Everglades, one of the plaintiffs in the case, asking a federal judge to stop any further construction or use of the site for the purpose of immigration detention until the state and federal government defendants comply with the National Environmental Policy Act.
That requires the government to analyze the impacts of its
She
actions,
looks like a
to
Karen.
take public input, and the government didn't do
Look
any
at those
of those
eyebrows.
things at Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh my
And
God,
that
those
unless
eyebrows.
she stops any new construction and potentially the operation
Those
of the
eyebrows
facility
could tell you a
itself,
lot.
the Everglades are going to be harmed. And if they've met that burden, this irreparable harm, she will issue a temporary
Come
injunction.
on.
Working to distance
Then
itself from the
everybody out of
state-run
South Florida,
facility,
move
the
out.
attorney representing
Because
the
all
federal
y'all
government
are
argued
endangering
no environmental
the whole
impact study was
environment there.
performed because it did not come up with the idea of placing an immigration detention facility in the Everglades. As an attorney for the state told a judge, they control the site, not the feds.
And if that's the case, the statute in question doesn't apply.
Federal and state defendants are dancing a wild two-step together. They're trying to bend over backwards to avoid accountability.
The judge telling both sides that they can expect for her to issue a ruling on the issues of this case before the expiration of that temporary restraining order that's already in place expires next week. Reporting live for you, I'm
Oh,
Christina Vasquez, Local 10 News.
See what happens. It's interesting. You know, the goal is to try to get these people out of here, right? But it seems like they want to keep them. They want to keep them all here. All right, then open your doors and keep them in your house. Maybe they'll be hopeful. I wanted to check this out, this story here, and it's about the Northeast being overdue for a hurricane. There it goes. They're starting to talk about it. The Northeast, where I'm at, getting hit by a hurricane. Could it happen? It's happened in the past. Let's see if it happens in the near future. That would be I'll report on it. That's for damn sure. I'll definitely report on it. But let's check it out together. Let's go ahead and bring it over here.
John, you bring a deep and personal and professional insight into hurricane risks for the Northeast. Decades, of course, of forecasting experience. And you're here to explain why this region remains one of the most vulnerable and overdue for a significant tropical impact. So, John, you grew up in Connecticut. Can you tell us what some of those impacts from the 1938 Long Island Express and Hurricane Bob in 1991 meant
1938.
to you and how those events shaped your perspective on hurricane
What do you
risks
about
in the
this one?
Northeast?
Well, good morning. Let's start with the 1938 hurricane. That was the hurricane really of record here across the coastal part of New England. Had tragic devastating impacts here across portions of Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts as well. This storm made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane in Bellport, New York on Long Island, and then rapidly raced to the north and east. It was moving at 50 to 55 miles per hour, made another landfall between Bridgeport and New Haven, Connecticut as a Category 3 storm.
Category 3.
Destructive winds across much of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts over a wide area, wind gusts to 100 miles per hour or more for many hours on end, and resulted in lots of property destruction. Now, I heard a lot about this storm growing up because my grandfather, Sebastian Cerrito, he grew up in New London, Connecticut, and he survived that hurricane. He was in that hurricane. Here's a picture of my grandparents many years ago, and Pop there in the middle. He told us many times about how that 1938 hurricane was. There was very little warning. They knew it was going to be a stormy day, but people were racing back to their homes because schools and work let out in the middle of the day. And I remember how Pop would talk about that storm with the trees falling all around him. And people were so thankful to have survived that storm. Of course, there was such a tragic loss of life associated with it. So it really was the storm of record that people remembered for generations. And of course, there have been other impacts in New England as well. But that 38 storm not only brought that destructive wind, but it resulted in significant catastrophic flooding inland across parts of Connecticut up into western Massachusetts and even northern New England. So it was a storm to be remembered for a long time. This kind of storm is going to happen again in New England. It's just a question of when, and that's why people have to be prepared.
You think back to 1938 and all the damage and destruction, but you and the team were able to come up with a number about what kind of damage that would be today.
We looked at it, and if that same storm were to happen today, that storm would could result in $440 billion of total damage and economic loss. And to put that into perspective, remember the total damage and economic loss from Hurricane Katrina, inflation adjusted, around $325 billion. So you can see this would be a very significant.
Yes, a lot of millionaires have homes out here.
Accurate data shows the Northeast typically sees a hurricane every 15 to 20 years. It's been over 30 since Bob. Why do you and the team believe that this region is so overdue?
Well, we're just concerned by looking at those numbers and those stats. When you take a look at this graphic here, look at the storms that were in the 50s and 60s, and of course, Hurricane Gloria in 1985 coming up through Connecticut, and Bob in 1991. That's the most recent significant hurricane impact in New England. So it's overdue. And when you get the factors to come together in the right way, that can result in various serious impacts in New England.
You talked about factors. What does it take to steer a hurricane into the Northeast?
If it does come this way, it's going to be like a week away.
It's a perfect setup that's required.
10 days away.
You have to have a strong Bermuda high in place that directs storms further west toward the United States, a dip in the jet stream in the northeastern part of the United States that draws a storm up the coast. And perhaps this is extremely important too. You have to have an area of high pressure across eastern Canada that blocks the exit route. A blocking area of high pressure. Then the storm has nowhere to go but to make its way into the northeastern part of the United States. This is the recipe when these factors come together for hurricane hits in the northeastern part of the United States. And these destructive storms from years past are why people treat hurricanes so significantly in the Northeast, and it's important to prepare for them. So constantly be monitoring the AccuWeather forecast all throughout the hurricane season so you can be best prepared and stay safer and know when to prepare across New England. Unfortunately, we're overdue for a significant impact there.
Yeah, we are.
Another storm like the 38 hurricane can happen in the future. We need people to be aware of that and be ready.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hurricane now. I'm celebrating 500. I don't want to I want to be here for the next 500. I left Florida. I moved from Florida to get away from hurricanes, okay? That was the main reason why I left. It's just, to me, things follow me. You know, I always feel like I'm being followed. And, you know, it is what it is. But that storm, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't. Hold on. I'll show you guys. Let's go ahead and see if I can make myself littler. There we go. Okay. Let's come back over here. This storm coming off Africa is still my concern too, because this is a beast. This here is a monster. This is a monster. It probably has an eye already. That center, we gotta get a closer look at it. We'll go get a closer look. This storm's here that's entering the Gulf. Got to be monitoring this because these waters are pretty primed to have something form. Let's get a closer look. Let's get a little mesoscale Ghost 19. See what it's looking like. There's your hourly check. Man, this storm's a beast. Look at that. Look how it's radiating. Like it's so beautiful. It's looking beautiful. She's a powerful thing. She's a very powerful thing. Whoever she hits is gonna hurt. Please don't go to Puerto Rico. I would like to go there this year. Like, listen to me. I want to go to Puerto Rico this year. I'm talking to the system, trying to be nice to the system, try to move the system northwards. Don't hit me though. I mean, okay, I don't mind if you hit me, okay? Just don't hurt Puerto Rico, because I really would like to go maybe sometime this year. I don't know when. Maybe, I don't know. I would like to go before the end of the year. I would like to go and take you guys along with me to Puerto Rico. Take the show on the road. I'll do my show on the road. Don't get it twisted. Take the production with me. Like, oh shit. Production on the run, on the go. Set everything up. Start up a show. Yeah, I could do it. Yes, I can. But it looks very, like, you can see it. Look at, like, it's really got itself together. I'm scared for tomorrow morning when I wake up. This is going to be a strong hurricane with probably like 80-mile-per-hour winds. They're going to send a plane out to it. When the plane gets in there, they're going to be reporting higher numbers. Okay? So this thing is going to rapidly develop tonight. I'm scared. I'm scared because I think it's going to, if it don't hit Puerto Rico, it's going to come up to the northeast, and we have not gotten hit by a storm since 91. Just a minimum hurricane we got hit in 91. But to have a big hurricane, a Cat 3 hurricane coming up here again, that hasn't happened since 1938. And it can happen. It can happen. So I got to pay attention to it. I'm gonna need supplies. I'm gonna definitely need supplies. I don't know how I'm gonna do this shit. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Do a GoFundMe shit, and get ready for the storm, because I hope it doesn't. Man, Cat 3. I left Florida because I didn't want to be within the tropics anymore, right? I didn't want to deal with the tropics. But it seems like it doesn't matter where you go. If you live anywhere near coast, your life will always be in danger at some point. And I just think that the storm is getting close to Puerto Rico. It's getting closer to the islands. Let's get out the mesoscale and let's go to let's go down here. Let's go down. Let's go to the Central Atlantic. Yeah, look at the center. Look. This is where the center is. Oh my God, this is gonna be a beast, and it keeps going. It feels like it keeps going west, but the storms are they're down this latitude, which is about 14, down to like 14 latitude, and the above part is about maybe 17 latitude storms. So it's a pretty good size, small for right now, but this thing could explode. For some reason, it's giving me Hurricane Andrew feelings. I don't know why. I got like Hurricane Andrew / like definitely Hurricane Maria. And Maria did horrible with Puerto Rico. The sucker needs to start moving north. Like tonight, it should start like moving north right now. If it moves north right now and start going northwards, then it'll miss the islands. But if it keeps going west and it doesn't look like it's moving north anytime soon, the islands are going to be put in play. You know whose island is up there? Epstein Island. What did he say? Epstein Island. Epstein Island's right over here. It's pretty close to Puerto Rico. Epstein Island. It's pretty close to St. Thomas. Nobody's talking about that, are they? I'm the one talking about it. Let's go ahead and check out the final show for tonight. And it's coming from Tyson De La Cruz. So let me go ahead and set myself up here. And let's finish the night with the last video here.
Breaking overnight traffic stopped in downtown during a street takeover in front of Crypto.com Arena.
America, after years of letting criminals turn LA into their personal playgrounds, residents are finally saying enough is enough. We're talking about organized criminal activity where young people are terrorizing entire neighborhoods every weekend while their parents sit at home and do absolutely nothing. But here's what really gets me. These aren't just random kids having fun. This is coordinated criminal behavior where parents need to be held accountable when their minors are out there destroying communities. One resident told reporters they have PTSD from living in their own home because of weekly criminal invasions at 3 a.m.
That's scary.
I'm very sensitive to noise, so obviously I got to go check out what it was, and then hearing the loud explosions and realizing that's fireworks, just those nonstop cars coming in and out, more people started gathering.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. It's time that we have an honest conversation about who's really behind these street takeovers and why the parents should be paying the price for their kids terrorizing neighborhoods. Let me keep it real with you. What's actually happening here? We've got young people running wild in the streets every weekend, turning downtown LA into war zones. And where are their parents? Where are their parents? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere.
Here we go again. Engines revving, vehicles spinning, rubber burning, fireworks exploding. These are the sights and sounds of the latest street takeover in downtown Los Angeles.
And here's what really gets me. When minors are involved in these criminal activities, the parents should be held accountable. They're not orphans running wild in the streets. These are kids whose parents know exactly what they're doing every weekend and chose to do nothing about it. Think about this. While law-abiding families are trying to sleep at 3 a.m., these parents are letting their kids terrorize entire neighborhoods with commercial-grade fireworks, burnouts, and criminal chaos. Where is the parental responsibility?
I thought it was warfare going on, 3 o'clock in the morning. My younger side of me says that was pretty cool. My more mature side of me says pretty dangerous.
I thought a war was going on at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what these parents are allowing their children to do to American communities. Look at what these kids are doing while their parents are sitting at home doing nothing. We're talking about noise complaints. We're talking about organized criminal activity that's destroying businesses and terrorizing families.
You're looking at the aftermath of a street takeover that spiraled into looting. Sneakers and merchandise litter the ground, surrounded by torn boxes and shattered glass. Thousands of dollars in goods were stolen.
Just a few weekends ago, businesses were looted during these takeovers. Thousands of dollars in merchandise stolen, stores destroyed, communities held hostage. Where are the parents of these kids? Nowhere to be found. They're not paying for the damage. They're not apologizing to the community, and they're certainly not stopping their kids from doing it again next weekend. Here's what a business owner said. It's hard for a business to recuperate after because it's like they see these things happening and it's like no one is here to help. This is what happens when you have soft on crime policies.
It's hard for a business to recuperate after that because it's like they see these things happening and it's like no one's here to help them.
No one's here to help them because the parents who raise these criminals, these little hombres, are nowhere to be found either when it's time to actually take responsibility. We need to get honest what's happening in LA. This isn't random teenage rebellion. This is a systematic failure of parenting in certain communities where parents have completely avoided their responsibility to raise law-abiding children.
Just last month, a new report came out showing a dramatic increase in street takeovers across LA County, especially in the 2nd District. That involves communities like North Hollywood, Studio City, Sun Valley, Van Nuys, and Toluca Lake. That is where they saw a 64% increase in the last 3 months.
LA has seen a 64% increase in street takeovers in just the past 3 months. That's not random.
They don't
That's
have
a
any
cultural
drones up
problem
there
where parents have
monitoring
failed
what's
to teach
going
their
on?
children basic respect of law and order. And here's what really gets me. These same communities that produce kids who terrorize neighborhoods are the first ones to cry about police brutality and over-policing. But when their kids are out here turning downtown into war zones every weekend, what do you expect?
Other city officials can put together a plan to kind of slow it down and get these people in a different direction as far as, maybe get in the gym, find another hobby. I don't know, like find another thrill, but because you're literally impacting everybody around you.
One resident begs city officials to get these people in different directions because they're literally impacting everybody around you. But the real question is, where are the parents who should be redirecting their own children? Here's another thing that drives me crazy. Social media is making this worse by glamorizing criminal behavior. These kids are chasing clout and viral moments, risking criminal records for Instagram likes, and their parents do nothing to monitor or control their social media activity.
The promoters are trying to make money from this. The drivers are often trying to make money or improve their street cred in the community. And the spectators are out there trying to enjoy. I don't even say enjoy. It's almost be titillated by this excitement.
Just look how organized this is. Promoters making money, drivers building street cred, spectators getting entertainment. This isn't spontaneous teenage rebellion. This is coordinated criminal behavior that parents are allowing their children to participate in. And when these kids get arrested, guess who shows up crying about, my little Joker, fool, he's a good boy. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, fool. The same parents knew exactly what their kids were doing every weekend and chose to do nothing
That's
about
a good
it.
impersonation.
This is what has been plaguing and ravaging communities for years. And what you're going to hear with the 2 cases I'm about to describe and the law enforcement that stands next to me is that we have said enough is enough.
Finally, we have a DA in Nathan Hochman who understands that this criminal behavior has been plaguing and ravaging communities for years. But here's what really needs to happen next. We need parental accountability laws.
I would ask the Board of Supervisors to keep ratcheting up the penalties. So the second time you get convicted once, maybe you went through a diversion program, it didn't work. Now you're back for the second illegal street takeover. That penalty shouldn't be $1,000. It should be $2,500.
Hochman wants to escalate penalties to $2,500 for the second offense, $5,000 and jail time for the third offense. That's good, but honestly, not good enough. We need to go after the parents as well. When a minor, little homie or essay is caught at these takeovers, the parents should face the same penalties. Make them pay fines, make them do jail time, make them pay for community damages that their kids caused. Watch how quickly these criminals find something else to do on Saturday nights when their parents are facing some real consequences.
If you think that you can sort of hide behind the social media and that you can promote these activities over and over again and make money from it, we're not only going to come after you, we're going to put you in prison as well.
And for the social media promoters, Holcomb's got the right idea. We're going to put you in prison. But again, we need to hold the parents accountable when their kids are promoting these criminal events online. America, the parents should be held accountable. We've been treating the symptoms instead of the disease. The disease is the parents who raise kids who terrorize neighborhoods and face zero consequences for their failures. These aren't random acts of teenage rebellion. This is organized criminal behavior by young people whose parents know exactly what they're doing and chose to do nothing about it. When residents are developing PTSD from living in their own houses, when businesses are getting looted during these criminal invasions, when entire neighborhoods are being held hostage every single weekend, that, my friends, is a parental failure. The solution, in my opinion, is simple.
Military school.
Make these parents pay financial penalties, criminal charges, civil liability for community damage.
Military
When parents
school.
start facing
Military
real consequences for raising little homies
Military
and
school.
SA terrorists, watch how quickly this problem disappears. Nathan Hochman is a good start, but we need to
Military
go further.
school.
We need parental accountability laws that make it clear. If you raise little fools that terrorize neighborhoods, you're going to pay the price right alongside them. It's time we had an honest conversation about who's really behind these criminal takeovers and why the parents need to be held accountable as well. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson. That was awesome. Tyson's awesome. This is what we come down to, right? This world is a wild world. But I say put the kids in military school. It does, the fear does straighten them up. And then if they still continue to be bad, then follow through with sending them to military school. They will fix that attitude. They will fix it for you. Okay? I think we need to bring that back. And maybe it's something that I could tell my congressman who's running here from the 5th District of Connecticut. Maybe I could get him to speak up about it. Jonathan Del Barros, I believe that's what his name, Barros. Definitely could pass that along to the congressman and get that shot up into Washington. I'm going to try to have my channel have a direct line to Washington through a congressman so I could push some of my thoughts to them. And we need to make accountability great again. And that's the true MAGA for sure. And, you know, it is what it is. It was a good show. Thank you, everyone who came by and celebrated 500, made it to the 500 subscriber mark. It's a big accomplishment for me. Small steps for me, but giant steps for Tyson De La Cruz, who hit 100,000 subscribers. 100,000, right? Compare 100,000 to 500. I'm like, 100,000. Man, I'm not here. I'm not here, man. Hi. I can't see you. I can't see you. You're way down there. I'm way up here. Oh, yeah, I'll be up there one day. Oh, I don't think I'll get to 100,000. I don't know. That's way too much. That'll be fun. But 500 is a good number. And we're going to go for 1,000 now. And now it's the race to 1K. And let's see if we can make it before the end of the year. Let's try. I mean, yeah, we give it a try, and let's check out for the last time tonight. And this is just for us. Let's say goodnight to the system that is rapidly developing. That is getting close to the islands. We know. I know this is a hurricane already. I know it's about an 80, 85 mile per hour hurricane. Please don't explode like Maria did overnight. And when I woke up, it was a Category 5 hurricane. Please don't bomb out while I'm sleeping tonight. And if you do, don't bomb out too much. You know, Cat 3 will be fine. Don't go any higher, which I know you're gonna want to. But Puerto Rico will rip you up with the mountains, so it will disrupt you for a little bit. But you're strong enough, and you'll get yourself back together again, and then you'll start heading up the coast, and hopefully, I hope I don't have to deal with you. But if I do, I'll put it on film and I'll record it. But it looks scary, man, because it's getting round. That's the only part that it's getting more round. Let me see if I can see it from. Sorry about that. I kicked myself out. Did I just kick myself out? Yeah, I did. I kicked myself out. So let's set it back up here. There we are. I wanted to check. It's Atlantic. I wanted to see. I was just in the central. I think it's too early for the northern. Eastern, you can still see it. Central, you can see it perfect. I've been seeing the central. Let me see this. What the weather's doing in this area. Okay, strong trough. Got a front coming through. Pretty big thunderstorms came through here earlier, and tonight we're supposed to get some rain. This is pushing off in the ocean, so this will probably break a little area down here for Aaron to come up. Man, imagine Aaron comes up and just goes right for us. That'll be something. A lot of energy up here, but everything down here is just moving this way. I don't even see these storms pushing up. All right, let's go over to the central. Continue upload. Wow, that looks so defined. Let me see. Is there different from the? Let me see the meso one more time before I let you guys go. Yeah, it's an update. They did an update. Ooh. See how the energy pushed out? You can see it, like how it's pushing out. It looks like a ring inside. It just pushes it out, you see? Look all around it. And you see the push. It's pushing the hot air out. It's pushing the energy. This storm is really developing into a beast. Puerto Rico. For Puerto Rico, it will have to pass the 19, like way up here. Like Puerto Rico's on this up here is Puerto Rico 19 and 66 and 67. So this is not even close to that area yet of Puerto Rico. So it really needs to start turning upwards like quicker before it gets to that 19 and 67, because that's like you're hitting Puerto Rico. So I'll be monitoring this tomorrow. I'll come back on here. Probably come on early. Maybe if I wake up good, I could come on early and we could talk more about the storm and how it's looking. Here, let me take myself out of here. That looks crazy. It's nice and big. Great outflow. Nothing's hindering the outflow. There's the inflow. Everything's looking good. It has its back, like it has a tail. It's pulling moisture. So it's really doing its thing. This one back here is gonna have a better time developing because it's gonna feed off of all this energy that's out here. So this storm could feed off, and this is gonna be another beast. And this one is like been going west for a long while and towards a little bit south because it got up to this high of longitude and then just went downwards. So it's like, is it going to continue possibly going a little bit down, or would it start rapidly intensifying and then start making its way up north? It would definitely have to start past the 50 west. So if it passed 50 west and it's still at this like longitude and latitude, then it's gonna be problems. There's gonna be problems for Puerto Rico. So man, this is way too close for comfort. Because when do you make that call? Because like it's not moving north. It's moving more west. Is it gonna like try to stay west and just stay west? This high pressure is really dominating the whole area. You can tell it's dominating because this front can't even move. You see, it's like blocked. That's high pressure blocking. All this is all high pressure. So this storm is just being pushed along. Would it hit Puerto Rico? That's the key. Would it go for it? That's it's about 19, and this is like 60. Like I said, it was 67, 68. So that's where Puerto Rico is. Will it make enough of a turn? It still has time to turn because it could start turning like right before the islands right here, and it could miss Puerto Rico. But a lot of these islands are gonna get hit if it does a slow turn. Now, if it does like a really slow turn that allows the storm to go behind the Leeward Islands and then creep up into Puerto Rico, that would be a worst case scenario for Puerto Rico. And the storm could creep up north and hit somewhere in the northeast. I don't know. It's going to be interesting tomorrow. So I'll keep on tracks on that, and I'll let you know if anything happens tomorrow. Thank you, everyone who came by in the chat, who came through and watched the show. Thank you for helping me celebrate our achievement. reaching past 500 subscribers, and we need to now gain another 500. And we're not stopping. We're going to keep going. I'm going to keep hustling on the shorts. And I put out some shorts today of the cats. There's some of their young pictures and pictures of them that I thought they were really cute that I put together. So I did a couple of videos of that. And then I put one of some flies that I had run into. They're all on shit. So it's like, right, flies on shit. So I recorded it, and there was like a yellow jacket that came, and if you slow motion it, you see the yellow jacket attacking the flies. I thought that was some really cool natural geographic type of stuff recording that I did. You have to put it on slow mo to see it. That's the trick. Put the video on slow mo, and you can see the yellow jacket come and attack the flying flies there. Pretty cool videos, but I'm gonna keep working on those, and I'm gonna keep working on this channel to grow it to bigger. And yeah, we'll see how big we get this channel with a lot of positive energy and positive support. Anything is possible. Just got to put your mind to it and do the work. That's it. So have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And we'll do this all again tomorrow. And be peaceful, stay in peace. Good night.